Good morning, good afternoon. Maybe you're the next day. God knows what's going on. Anytime you're listening or watching this fine broadcast, we welcome you to episode 257 of the Hoots podcast. It's Thursday, May 13th, 2021. It's yours truly, the nefarious brother Adam, aka Joshie Lopez. You see here on our YouTube version where you can follow me on social media at Josh Lopez Media, Instagram at Joshie Lopez 94, at Josh Lopez Music. If you want to see me do some guitar covers, I am alongside the Director of Operations. You can follow him at Twitter at Derek Stoughton. Make sure to check out DerekStoughton.com. Here he is, the Byron Saxton to my Mauro Ranallo. Here he is, Brother Carter, Derek Stoughton.
Josh, I wouldn't be offended if that was the God to honest truth. I am the Saxton of this. Like, I very much accept my role as the Saxton of this commentary team. But, you know, Josh, this worked out so well last week. The Director of Operations, the Back in Black, he's got to be back one more time. So 2 weeks in a row back as a live guest on the Hoots podcast. Thrilled to be here with you again this week. Also, it's my dad's birthday today, so shout out to my dad. He's turned 65 today. So
wow.
Shout out to Senor Stoughton for his for everything. So happy birthday to my dad. And yeah, look, it's been a great week. Looking forward to a great show today, and looking forward to talking got a big show this weekend to go over, and we'll be doing that too. So good stuff.
You know, it's ironic you mentioned that because today's my mom's 45th birthday.
Wow,
today.
that's cool. Wow, nice. How about that? May 13th. Shout out to also one of my best friends growing up in Canada, Chris. It's also his birthday today too. So
speaking of the birthdays, I want to give a shout out to everybody that wished your boy a happy birthday.
Yes.
That's right. Really appreciate the number of people that reached out. It's just once you get older, I think everybody realizes it's like. Not that it's just another day, but the fact that people still take time out of the day to reach out to you and stuff like that. Plus, I've never been a person that wanted to go to clubs or do anything big like that for my birthdays. So, again, I just want to say a big shout out to everybody that reached out with birthday shouts last week. It meant a lot to me. So, we got a lot to talk about this week. I put down the format of the show in the description where you see the video right now, guys, of what we're talking about this week. And we got some stuff to go into WWE. We got WrestleMania Backlash coming up this Sunday. We'll be making predictions. Yes,
indeed.
That'll be going on that'll be our final segment of the show after what the hell is wrong with AEW. Also, we'll get into this week at WWE as well, but we will begin our festivities as we usually do on the Hoots podcast with the Good Brothers Q&A session. Now, as always, if you are new to the podcast, if you want to send myself or Brother Carter a question on the Hoots podcast, all you have to do is hit me up on Twitter at Josh Lopez Media or email us at thehootspodcast@gmail.com. By the
way, on a side note, Josh, we must keep Free the Hoots podcast hashtag going because this is getting ridiculous. We've got to free the Hoots podcast.
Yeah, it's been since February. My old Twitter account got suspended. It's ridiculous.
Free the Hoots podcast.
You know, since I have Brother Carter here, I put it out earlier this week. Like, we're gonna play this off air. I'm gonna play it by air in the coming weeks. You know, Brother Carter just finished his educational festivities for his semester, so we're gonna play it by air and what his schedule's like. I'm not gonna guarantee that Brother Carter will be here every single week, but while he is here and we're getting towards the summertime, you may get more live editions of the show like this and have some fun. So thank you for doing this again.
Yeah. Oh, dude, thanks for having me. I'm always happy to be and, you know, I only have to give performance evaluations about once a month, you know, to check in on everything, make sure everything's good. So you're not even getting a performance evaluation today, Josh. This is just two good brothers shooting the shit, you know. So yes. I hope that our fans enjoy the live audition or the live editions of the show. I will say to them, you're welcome, or I'm sorry, depending on how you feel about interactions with you do, as Mitchell McLukewarm refers to me.
Oh, God.
By the way, shout out to Matt and Tony. Definitely check out the TBD Wrestling podcast. They do great work every week.
Okay, we're going to start it off with another good brother who listens to both of our podcasts. Make sure to hit him up at Twitter at XTeenZaletta24X on Twitter. It's Chris Zaletta. Starting off hot. Was Booker T, in your mind, one of the top guys in the invasion angle? Would that still have been the case if Hogan, Goldberg, and Sting were involved at that time period?
I'll say yes, because I think Booker T, as WCW was getting its end, I mean, Booker T was really ascending to the top of that roster. You know, he had a world title reign. He actually had 2 world title reigns, I believe, before the company went out of business. So I think he would have been, you know, he came in hot in WWE and was able to work with The Rock and other top name talent and really stepped up and proved why he was one of the few that was able to distance himself from WCW and really make a name for himself in WWE, obviously doing the Booker 2 thing with the King Booker, you know, and the Charmel stuff. So I would say yes, for sure.
I think good paths are just curtailed for good people. You know, at the end of the day, no matter what the circumstances are. Also, what benefited Booker was that he was a homegrown talent. In WCW towards the end of that era, even though they were playing hot potato with the WCW title towards the end of the company. But Booker T and his documentary that just came out on AE the other day was a testament to the person he is and the performer he was. So I think he would have been on the same path because that's just how the person he was and how God wanted to play it out for him. So that's how I look at it. Next question. Who poses the biggest threat to the Kansas City Chiefs this season in the AFC?
Ooh, man, that's a tough question. Boy. Josh, I'm going to let you go first on this because I need to think about this one for a second.
I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. That'll be my...
Oh, yeah. Good call. Yeah. Good call.
Yes.
You know, it's either the Bills or I still say you got to watch out for the Cleveland Browns, man. I'm telling you, the Browns they're going to be that sneaky good team.
Are they actually going to be a sustainable team this time? Or, we got a playoff appearance and then we're like 6-11 this season?
I will say also, though, that all bets are off if Aaron Rodgers ends up going to Denver.
I guess.
You know, they at least make a run because Aaron Rodgers gives you a boost overall.
It'd be interesting divisional games, but I don't know.
So
I kind of wish Aaron Rodgers just goes the fuck home and stays the fuck home, but that's just my opinion.
You can go host Jeopardy.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, he has good waterfall at home. Like,
yeah. But no, Josh, I like your Buffalo Bills, man. Josh Allen is a machine. He had and Stephon Diggs and the whole.
I love their defense.
Yeah, so I like that. That's a good answer.
All right, next question. Oh boy, I think this is gonna be a little teaser for our AEW segment later on. What's next for Darby Allin? Oh man. Well, as I was mentioning it last night, I want to give a shout out to Andrew Baydal and everybody at the SNE Network for having me on their AEW show last night. It's gonna be Sting and Darby Allin against Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page at Double or Nothing in a tag match. Gonna suffer this. Sky and Page are gonna suffer the same fate as Teens has. Does nothing for me. Him losing the title to Miro. I guess you want to say it works well for Miro or something that had to happen, but honestly, for me, it's just another example of AEW compiling 5 different things into one square peg, and it's like you don't know who's the heel or babyface. You don't know what's going on with this feud or that feud. It's all over the fucking place. I have no idea what's next for Darby Allin. If anything, he's probably going to get into a feud with Lance Archer. We'll see.
Well, it's going to be, unfortunately, I think it's going to be something that involves stupid garbage death match stuff because that's what he likes to do, which is unfortunate because I actually think Darby Allin has a lot of talent. And I think he could be one of AEW's top guys, no problem. You know, now logical booking would suggest that his next stop would be the AEW world title, because usually when a big star drops a mid-card title, they move up and challenge for the world title, aka Bobby Lashley, But
it would be nice to have a TNT title match where the Dark Order are not running out after the match every time. But that's just my opinion.
Well, we'll get into this too. I also think that AEW may be trying to turn Miro into their version of Brock Lesnar. So that's just another. I mean,
I needed a good laugh this way. That's awesome.
you laugh, Josh, but if you think about it, that actually, think about it. Like,
it can happen. I don't doubt it.
He threw around, but we'll get into it into our segment. But my hope is that he will end up going for the AEW world title. But I have a feeling I agree with you, Josh. Maybe a feud with Lance Archer or something where he can just be thrown around and do just, hardcore deathmatch crap.
Right. Let's go to the next question for Chris. He says, do you think Zelina Vega will come back to wrestling? I think it all depends on her. She's carved out a good niche for herself where she's making money doing her stuff on Twitch and all those so she does outside of WWE. For me, I'm not a person to sit here and judge what person does in or out of the ring. I think everybody's career is up to their own discretion and not on anybody else's terms. Would I like to see her come back? Sure. But where or when or why is something that I really don't think about. She would be an asset to any wrestling promotion that's out there. So I think for me, just let her decide when she comes back.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if she's, I haven't seen any of her Twitch streams, so I don't know what it's all about. But if she has a good following there and people are really enjoying what she's doing, then yeah, let her run with it. And if that's what makes her happy, then that's great. Like you said, who are we to judge what makes a person happy? And if that's how she feels like she connects more with people, then all the power to her. I'd love to see her back too, because I think she's very talented.
Yeah, very, very good. Next question. Ooh, I'll take this one because it's MLW related.
Yeah.
Where does Selena De La Renta end up? Oh, man, that's a good question. I'll tell you what. I would love to see Selena De La Renta in NXT as part of Legado del Fantasma. Selena had a long run in MLW where she's kind of a quasi authority figure, but also like a big villain, like Paul Heyman, but from a female point of view, she's very talented. She does. I was kind of surprised to find out that I was older than her. I think she's like 24 or 25, which kind of caught me by surprise, but she's very good at what she does. She's good on the mic. She has the presence, the look, all that, and then some. And then she's not a wrestler, but she does matches sometimes here and there. But I like what she does as a on-screen character, and I think she'd be awesome in NXT. But I guess a lot of people assume, oh, just go to AEW. And I would love to see Selena match with Santos Escobar. I think that'd be pretty cool. That's just my opinion.
Well, if they want a quick payday, they can go to AEW and not be used on television properly. They can go to AEW, but
hey, at least you get a guaranteed spot on Darker Elevation.
How many shows were there this week, Josh? Or how many matches this week before Dynamite?
I'm glad you asked this week. 30 matches, 14 for Elevation, 16 for Dark. And then we had 5 last night, which I was shocked. 35 matches. Good God.
Okay.
Next question. Ooh, here we go. We got a football one. Which NFL coaches are on the hot seat next year?
Ooh.
Go ahead, Brett Carter.
Which NFL coaches are on the hot seat next year? Well, I think all the ones that needed to be replaced were replaced this year. So
yeah,
I don't it's hard to say who's going to be on the hot seat next year.
I got one
because Matt Nagy would be the only one I can think of if he doesn't turn it around with Chicago.
The only reason they put Matt Nagy on the hot seat is they wanted to rush the whole Mr. Trubisky's a failure thing, and then they thrust that upon him. That's a guy that's been in the playoffs 2 out of his first 3 years as a coach and 1 coach of the year. I don't know how the hell that constitutes you being in the hot seat, but NFL media be NFL media since.
Hey, listen, it's not what have you done for me? It's what have you done for me lately? Like, let's just be real. That's
they were just in the playoffs last year. That's what I mean.
I know. Listen, I'm
not going after you. I just don't get where some of these like hot take analysts come from sometimes. Like, I'm not a big fan of Dominic Foxworth. He could go home and stay home as far as I'm concerned. His passive-aggressive, snarky ass. Marcus Spears, I think he's about to have a heart attack whenever somebody disagrees with him.
You don't like Swagoo?
No,
you're not a fan of Swagoo? Come on, man.
No. I got one, but it's also the same division. Mike Zimmer. I've heard so much stuff about Mike Zimmer being this great coach and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, and I get the Vice Queens were in the NXT title game a few years ago. But what have you, like you just said, Brecker, what have you done for me lately? Just get more memes about Kirk Cousins and his being an anti-mask wearing guy. Like, you can't tell me that Mike Zimmer was at least not on the hot seat last season. His seat's gonna be cooking, sizzling.
Well, they had an okay draft, I guess. I'm
not Mel Kiper. I can't evaluate that either way.
Right. I will see. We'll see. But no, that's not a bad one either.
Who else? John Gruden? No, he has a 10-year.
No, he has a 10-year deal. He'll be fine. But again, I think like all the coaches that were in trouble last year got replaced. I mean, Jacksonville, the Jets, the Chargers. I mean, the Texans. They've all replaced their head coaches. So I mean,
Vic Fangio probably.
Well, I don't know. Denver did not have a good season last year. No question. But they had a good draft too. So we'll see. We'll see. There's a lot of people that are saying that Denver is going to be a lot better this year. So we'll see.
It'd be funny if they put Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur. All right, next question. We're having a lot of fun here with this Q&A session so far. Here's an interesting one. Make it or break it year for Daniel Jones.
This is a break. I think this is going to be a make it year because, I mean, the Giants had a good draft. Saquon's coming back. So if the Giants don't produce this year, this will be the end for Daniel Jones. But I have a feeling that he's going to step it up, and the Giants are going to be a lot better next year. So I'm going to say make it.
I just don't know why people put like 3-year windows on quarterbacks that get drafted, as if you understand how quarterback development is supposed to go. Quarterback development is not linear. I mean, look how long it took Kurt Warner to become Kurt Warner, or John Elway become John Elway.
Ryan Tannehill's another one.
Exactly. I'm not going to come in here and say Daniel Jones is a great quarterback. Obviously, the guy fumbles the ball a lot, has no ball security if his life depended on it. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if it's make it or break it, to be honest with you, because also you got to realize the team he's on. The Giants have not been a good football team over the last 5 to 10 years, and they fired their last coach. They had a crappy season last year. Yeah, I know Saquon had his ACL tour, but also even when he was playing, they weren't even that good of a team. Right. So I know they had a good offseason. They had a lot of people. Be interesting that wide receiver crew that they got should be pretty good this year. So I obviously for me, I say to take the next level is probably where my head's at as far as for Daniel Jones this year.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. But they also have to remember with the Giants, though, they play in the worst division in the history of football. Yeah. So, I mean, anybody could come out of the NFC least. I mean, even ever, So we will see what happens with that. But it's going to be good. I'm really excited about the NFL season. I think it's going to be a good year.
Yeah, I'm excited for Fitz Magic 18 weeks.
Well, Josh, you bring up the quarterback thing. Everybody expects every quarterback coming out of college now, if they're not succeeding in the time that Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert. You know, if you're not a superstar within 2 years of the league, you're an automatic bust because Patrick Mahomes did it. Well, Justin Herbert did it. Like,
right.
You know, it's like not everybody is those guys. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, just like, oh, John Cena got title shots and title reigns out of the blue. Oh, what do you mean it took somebody 8 years to get a title shot? Look at Bret Hart when he first came to WWF and how long it took for him to get his title run, you know?
It took Bobby Lashley 16 years to become WWE champion. Drew McIntyre 17 years to become WWE champion. Like,
exactly,
it takes a while. But no, that Kadarius Toney out of Florida. I've seen him play. He's a stud. He could have been one of the major sleeper picks in the first round. Like, watch out for the Giants.
All right, next question. Make it no, I heard that one. Best SmackDown general manager.
Oh, this is easy, player. This one's easy, player. The Undertaker.
You go one-on-one with the Undertaker.
We're going to have a 6-man tag team match, player.
I never, I have like so much fatigue with tag matches these days. So whenever I heard like Teddy Long come out and pose the tag, he's the only person that can get people interested in a tag team match. We're gonna have a 20-man tag team match.
Oh, that's funny.
He would have like a King of the Ring tag tournament if it was up to him.
No, it's got to be Teddy Long, I think, anyways.
Mm-hmm. I think it's him. It's also, to me, I always thought he was like the only actual SmackDown general manager. Like when you look at like Paul Heyman or Stephanie McMahon, they're just like commissioners.
Right.
Hell, even Big Johnny, you could put in the same category as
People power.
People power, they love me. I got 300 Twitter followers. Yeah, screw you and your 300 Twitter followers, pal.
I don't know, man. I like John.
No, I was doing a CM Punk quote there.
Oh, I see. Well, then we'll ignore that. We'll edit that out of post.
Do I lose some?
We'll edit it in post.
Do I lose some points because I mentioned CM Punk?
Yes. We'll edit that out of. We'll fix that in post. We'll get rid of that reference.
All right.
Dude, I always liked John Laurinaitis. I thought People Power was hilarious.
Oh, he was great. He was awesome. Next question. Speaking of general managers and on-screen authority figures, Adam Pearce's job evaluation so far. Go ahead, Brother Carter.
I think he gets an A. I love what Adam Pearce is doing. I think he's in the perfect role. Obviously, his actual in-ring career didn't pan out the way that he wanted it to, but I think he's doing a great job. I think he's a perfect authority figure. I think he needs to be on one show. I think he needs to be on Raw, and I think Sonya Deville needs to run SmackDown because I'd love to see Sonya Deville stand up to Roman Reigns. I think that actually could be some great television. Adam Pearce, he ain't going to stand up to Roman Reigns, but I think Sonya Deville could. But I give Adam Pearce an A. I'll say an A-. But I like Adam Pearce a lot. I think he's great.
Adam Pearce passes my evaluation test with flying colors as well. I just like how he carries himself on screen, and he's done a good job. But it's always go with the bar. You either like Teddy Long or you could be Brad Maddox. That's the bar where I'm at with GM. So Adam Pearce is on the right path, pal.
You're not going to throw Vicky Guerrero in there too?
Vicky was a good GM.
She was great. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
She still does the excuse me stuff, and I don't know what the hell's going on with her and Nyla Rose.
Well, we'll get into that, Josh, because I thought AEW's women's division was moving in the right direction. I was very, very, very wrong.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, we'll get into it when we get into our segment.
All right, last question from Chris. He says, top 10 players in the MLB currently. Do you watch any baseball, Brett Carter?
I'm not a big baseball. I only really watch around the playoffs, or maybe if we'll go to a live game in the summertime. But that's about it.
Some people are gonna call me a homer with my picks. let's do this in order, okay? Lucas Giolito, Dallas Keuchel, Jose Abreu, Tim Anderson, Liam Hendricks, Luis Robert, Lance Lynn. We're at 7, right? Michael Kopech, 8. Yasmani Grandal, 9. And then we'll wrap it up at number 10 with Dylan Cease. All players for your Chicago White Sox.
Well done, brother Adam. Well done. All right, you've made your ground back after that CM Punk comment. Good job. Way to troll everybody. I like that. Good job.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't want to bore people with Cubs players. Sorry, Sam, if you're listening to this.
Go Cubs, go. Go Cubs, go. Okay, sorry, Josh. I know you're not a Cubs fan.
The worst sports song ever.
Dude, I told you I've been to Harry Carey's Steakhouse. It's pretty good. It's overpriced, but it is good, and it's cool to see. Because I mean, Harry, I know you're not a Cubs fan, but Harry Carey was one of the greatest sports play-by-play announcers of all time. You can't argue that.
No, of course. And he also worked for the White Sox back in the day as well. What I was going to say is that you mentioned overpriced. That's just Chicago in a nutshell. Kind of one of the reasons why I'm moving out sooner or later. Yes. All right. Thanks, Chris, for awesome questions.
Great. Thank you, Chris.
We're going to transition to the next set of questions from Nate the Great, which you can follow him at Twitter at Psycho Nagiri on Twitter. Good brother of the Hoots podcast.
He had some good tweets last night regarding AEW, so check those out. That was pretty good. He had some pretty good stuff last night. I like it.
Yeah, here's the thing. Also, as we continue on with the segment, I mentioned it on Twitter on Tuesday. Like when it comes to this segment, as we get into the summertime, especially when like we're in like these in between periods of like B-level pay-per-views. If there's a show that's kind of a week that's kind of or indifferent, we want you guys to send some like personal questions so you get to know us a little bit better and try to change it a little bit than just like wrestling and sports. So that's why I put it out there. If you have like mental health or any type of issue you're going with, we love to help you guys out with that stuff as well. So, all right, here's Nate's questions. We're gonna start off here. He says, "Do you think the Briscoes will ever leave Ring of Honor before they retire? If so, where would you like them to go?" I think the Briscoes will probably just stay at Ring of Honor. That's the vibe I get from them. They just probably want to be one of those talents and say that, hey, we had a successful career not being associated with the WWE, and they have. They're definitely been one of the best tag teams in the last 15, 20 years. So I don't think they'll leave Ring of Honor.
It's great. Were they a part of Aces and Eights when they were with Ian? No, I'm thinking of West Briscoe. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're talking about like North Dakota Briscoes with their chicken hands and all that.
That's right.
No, let's see. What's the next question here? He says, how do you feel about a Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso feud? Go ahead, Brad Carter.
I would love that. That was one of the first things I thought of, is that maybe at some point we'll get a Jimmy versus Jey match. I think that could be incredible. I could see that happening at SummerSlam. That could be a SummerSlam match. I don't think that's the direction they're going to go. I think Jimmy will ultimately end up siding with Roman Reigns and they'll win the tag titles again. But I would love to see a Jimmy versus Jey match. I think, especially put that in front of a live crowd, I think people would hype the hell out of that match. I would love to see that. I think that would be absolutely terrific.
It'll be a drag-out slobber knocker. Pal.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
Next question. How much life does Bobby Fish singles run have?
I don't see why not. I mean, all members of the Undisputed Era, the former Undisputed Era, are incredibly talented. I don't see why it couldn't have success. I mean, look at what Kyle O'Reilly's been able to do recently. And we know what Adam Cole can do. We know what Roderick Strong can do. So I don't see any reason why Bobby Fish can't have just as successful as a single run as the rest of them.
I'd say his singles run would be short just due to the fact that he's perpetually injured. And just from how things are done in WWE, I think the only way he would have a more extensive single run if he was in like NXT UK or stood in NXT. I just don't see what he would do on Raw or SmackDown on his own without him being put in a tag team or doing a reunion of Undisputed Era. So I think more from an injury point of view, it'd be hard to buy into a full, long, extensive singles run. But he's a good wrestler. There's no taking that away from him.
Yeah, no, I definitely think NXT is his destination. He needs to be like a Johnny Gargano, an NXT lifer kind of person. I think he'd be great at that.
Right. We got 3 more questions for Nate here. He says, I love the cruiserweight / junior division. That's why I asked a bunch of questions about it. So NXT had a cruiserweight title match main event NXT this week. What do you think is stopping New Japan and Impact from having their junior and X Division main event shows, if anything? Well, I would not say that New Japan does not have their junior heavyweights main event show, because they've done it a couple of times already with Hiromu Takahashi. And they also, with New Japan, they put a lot of emphasis on the junior title because they usually make it the semi-main event of particular events when those titles are on the line. So as far as Impact's concerned, I guess it's just whatever's convenient for Don Callis and Olivier, because that's where it is right now. The exhibition with Impact is good, but it's never been a draw.
Well,
at least it can be a draw to a niche audience. But as far as like gauging casual viewers and being like, okay, this is Impact, we're gonna get this rating up to like 2 million people instead of whatever they get on Access TV right now. The X Division is just not a draw. The style of wrestling that's over on Twitter, or the way wrestling fans want things to be booked these days, is not. It's not to what casual wrestling fans like, because they don't watch the stuff the way we do. Like I always joke that I cover too much wrestling, but also I could realize from my own point of view that even I don't agree with the way hardcore wrestling fans look at things.
Sure.
I have a different outlook in the business now because it's worked for me, but also I'm trying to learn something with every show. So I'm not looking at it for what only Joshie, the hardcore wrestling fan, would want all these years. It's different. But also when it comes to every wrestling show that you watch, you should not be thinking about what another company is doing at the same time. That's why I always stress about identity and form your identity, because you don't have it. How can you call yourself an alternative? We can call space the AEW is just a Thunder knockoff. That's all it is.
Yeah, you're right. I still think AEW, the more and more I watch it, AEW is just a parody of a wrestling company, is really what I think of it as. I mean,
big time.
All you have to do is watch the Young Bucks match from last night, which we'll get into, but it tells you everything you need to know.
We had 2 personal questions to wrap up the podcast this week. This is an interesting one here.
All right.
First one. What helps you get going in the morning, and are you a big coffee guy?
Well, I am currently sipping on my coffee that I made in my coffee machine this morning. So, yes, I definitely do like drinking coffee. I'll just, I get up, and I usually, first thing I do is I get my phone and, double check some apps just to make sure that everything's good, set my fantasy lineup, just spend a little bit of time getting going in the morning. There's actually a really, really interesting video that I watch from time to time, and it's called The Daily Routine of Christian Lindbergh. And Christian Lindbergh is he has a 3-faceted career. He's a professional trombone soloist, a professional composer, and a professional conductor. And he has developed this minute-by-minute routine that he does every single day. Now, I'm not suggesting that everybody does something like that, because it's pretty, okay. But it is a very fascinating thing to look at. So I definitely check that out. Just it kind of puts things into perspective. Again, I just try to ease into the drink some coffee, and then get rocking and rolling. But I try not to. I always, if I'm just kind of laying in bed or I'm just sitting in the shower, something in my brain clicks and says, nobody ever changed the world by sitting in the shower. Nobody ever changed the world by lying in bed. So that just kind of keeps me going.
Right. I'm not a big coffee guy. I've never been a big coffee guy. I think the only exception I had is like vanilla bean coffee at Starbucks a couple times, but I'm not really just a big connoisseur of coffee. What gets me going up in the morning is I always say like my days are fluid depending on my transcript schedule. I'm usually up a lot to like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning on most days throughout the week just because of my work schedule. And also I have a side job where I work at my uncle's tattoo shop. So I don't have the normal morning routine that everybody has. Sometimes if there's not a New Japan show, I'll wake up like around 8:30 or 9 o'clock that day, and I load up this sucker here. This is my routine. Water.
I got my water right here.
I take 2 turns of water sessions, drinking every morning, and then as far as like inspiration, like getting my mind in the right mental frame, I watch a couple of videos from a guy named Stefan Speaks, who's a life dating and relationship coach. He also mental health as well, so I watch a lot of his videos. If you guys are a friend of me on Facebook, you probably see me share a couple of his videos on there. It's all part of like wisdom and have a higher value thinking than doing the status quo more than anything. It's not to attach a label to yourself. A lot of people that make content like, oh, I'm an alpha male because of this. No, you're an alpha male for how you carry yourself and why you're doing the things that you're doing, and that you're making your own decisions for yourself, not because you're doing it to have benefits from other people. You understand what your value is. You know what your purpose is on. You're on your focus. You're on your grind. And that's me to see. When I wake up and I do my routine, I'm focused on what I need to do, and I'm doing that. I really waste no time on wasted energy. I just don't have time for it or the energy for it. It serves no purpose to me. And when it comes to the morning, I try to value that time because when like I'll wake up early on Monday, I have to come in early to the shop because it's a tube day, and I have to go to the shop at like noon and clean tubes for like 8 hours. It's like a 12 to 11 at night shift on Mondays, and that's probably the roughest morning part of my week is Monday, but that's the case for everybody. But for me, when I wake up in the morning, I want to get in the right mental frame because it's very important to me. I can't go with it being lethargic or feeling sorry for myself over something I have no control over, or blah 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 blah. You know what I mean, brother? So that's how it is for me.
That's great. The last thing I'll say about this, Josh, is everybody has to do what works best for them. You know, there are some people that get the most done in the morning. Like that's when they're the most productive. There are some people who are most productive at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and that's fine. Like the world is moving to a way into a system where it's becoming generally more accepted that people can work when is best for them, whatever works best for them. So you just got to listen to your body, experiment, find out what works best with you, and run with it.
All right, last question for the Q&A session this week from Nate. He says, what is your philosophy? What's the philosophy you live your life by? That's a good question.
I don't know if there's one philosophy, but I guess it's the best way to think of it is, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, is what do you want your life's work to be? When all is said and done, and as you get a little older, you start thinking about those kinds of things. You know, what do you want when you're gone? What do you want your legacy to be? You know, do you want it to be where you just, sat and played video games all day? Or do you want it to be that where you go out and you did something and you conquered the world? So it's and just trying to find that balance between work and social life and putting it all together and all that sort of stuff. So it's just, I'm always asking myself, what do you want your life's work to be?
Right. I have two philosophies that I live by. One is only make moves when your heart's in it. That's a line that I got from a Notorious B.I.G. movie. Not movie, a song. It's very true. You know how I always say, be the authentic product that is yourself. That's the second one. They're all kind of the same thing, but it's two different principles. One, you gotta trust your instincts. Let your heart speak for you, not in here, because in here, in this noggin, is just a dangerous device. It can lead you in a lot of different directions that you don't need to go down. And it's one thing that's, they always have to say, oh, think before you speak. Yeah, that's true. But also, you got to remember, man, like, people try to act like this naive that there's no mental health issues, but there is. And not a lot of people are take time to acknowledge their issues that they have, because maybe they're embarrassed by it. But it's nothing to be embarrassed about. I deal with depression. There's a lot of times where I feel like I'm not worthy to people. There's a lot of times where I feel like I'm worthless sometimes, and for me, I always wanted to make sure that I know I'm making progress, as long as that I know where I am within myself and that I'm making the right decisions for me. The moment where I start feel like I'm settling or I'm compromising my things to try to appease other people, then that's where things go awry for me. And for me, I just want to make sure that I get better every day as a person recording shows, a person writing articles. And I just want to do it all for the right reasons. And also just being a good person is general. Nobody on this planet is perfect by any means. We all have our own flaws in our own ways. But for me, at the end of the day, I have to be who I am, be the authentic product that is myself. And also, if something comes my way, bad energy, or whatever the situation is, I have to make the right decision for me, what my heart says. And whether that's professional or personal, I always say this, like, you have to adapt when bad energy comes your way, because if you don't, you're just going to go down a bad rabbit hole. So that's what I live by.
I love it, man. That's great.
I want to thank Chris and Nate for the questions this week. You guys did a great job this week, as always. If you ever want to send myself or Bert Quarter a question, hit us up at Twitter or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. Also, I wanted to mention, you guys subscribe to the podcast because you're free of charge every single Thursday. No, we don't have a Patreon account or anything like that. So
that's right.
You guys can check out the podcast as is. And we appreciate any feedback you have for the show.
Absolutely. Wow. That's how we get better, is we want to know what you think, and we want to know what you all want to hear from the nefarious Brother Adam and the amazing and elated Brother Carter. This is why I am the Saxton to your Ronaldo. Anyways, go ahead, Josh.
All right. How about me? Spacefly Tiger drop to the outside. All right. Let's go to this week in WWE. We're coming off the heels of Throwback SmackDown. I can't believe it's going to be Friday tomorrow.
I know it.
By like insane. Yeah, so we got Throwback SmackDown tomorrow. No, that was last week. But
yeah.
Let's start off with that. What was your thoughts on Throwback SmackDown? Do you like the look of it? Do you like the Michael Cole doing the frosted tits and the old jacket back then? What was your thoughts on the show?
I thought it was great. It's always those throwback shows are always a lot of fun, and a chance to relive some moments and some nostalgia and stuff like that. So I thought that was all great. As far as and I know a lot of this stuff we'll tie into when we get into our predictions a little bit later on in the show. But no, I thought it was great. Very, very, very cool vibe. Always fun to see those moments. That's, usually I don't like the big 10, 12-man tag team matches. But I think for a throwback show, it's okay. It's fine. Like if you do a specialty show, it's okay to have those matches. But no, I overall, I thought it was really, really, really good. Do you want me to get into some of the specific segments, or do you want? Will we break those down?
Yeah, we'll break a couple things down.
Okay. Yeah, but no, overall, I thought the show was really good. Great to see. Obviously, great to see Jimmy Uso back. I was actually really great to see Carmella back. That I've been wondering where she's been. So that was really great to see Carmella back. I was hoping we'd get more of a match with her and Ruby Riott, but no, I thought that was really good. What else? Obviously, Teddy Long stuff was great. All that was really cool. Also, I will say, I forgot how cool the ring implosion spot was when they first did it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was like I'd forgotten about it. And I know you kind of see it now and you think about it, but if you really think about it, like that was pretty revolutionary for its time. The ring implosion spot. Also, by the way, Josh, I went back and watched that promo with Tamina on Talking Smack. That was fantastic. Like I can see why she's getting a push. And all that stuff was great.
Oh,
what else? Yeah, what else that I really liked this week? Seeing the ice cream bars promo, I thought that was hilarious. That was great. And also more with the Jimmy Uso thing. I like how they tied it back into Hell in a Cell. I thought that was really great storytelling when Jimmy Uso came back. So
hold on,
I really enjoyed the show.
Hold on, bro. I thought WWE doesn't do long-term storytelling.
No, that's AEW.
Oh yeah.
But no, I really enjoyed the show this week. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I mentioned, and I'm sure if you say some stuff, it'll come back to me. But
yeah,
no, I really enjoyed it.
One thing I noticed is that wrestling fans take these two literally these days. Yeah, I know they had like the old school WWF 80s logo on the screen. Oh, this wasn't around in the 90s with SmackDown. It's Throwback SmackDown. It was a whole throwback theme on all Fox Sports programming. I don't watch it, but I already knew that. Like Colin Cowherd did something throwback. Everybody in the network did something throwback. Did you not see the 1999 SmackDown logo all over the show? Did you not see the blue referee T-shirts, which were great? Shout out to referee Tony S. I'm sure you loved seeing that on the show.
I did too. I think they should actually keep that look. I actually really like
cool.
No, it's like it's different. It's not generic referee shirt. I actually really like that shirt. I think they should keep it.
Yeah, here's the thing. I just don't know why people take these so literally. Like, oh my god, Vince McMahon did not look like that on SmackDown. It's a throwback show. Please get over yourself. Like, it's so ridiculous where people let one thing ruin an entire show for them. Oh, Pat McAfee's dressed up like Vince McMahon, and we got the old 80s WWF logo. Oh, this doesn't make sense. There's no continuity here. Like, just watch the fucking show.
All right, Brianna Alvarez, calm down.
So as far as the show's concerned, I agree with you. Stuff with Jimmy Uso and Jay. I thought that was pretty interesting, especially how they tied it in the end. Cesaro got to lay out everybody with neutralizers, so that was a good way to close off the show. I thought Rollins and Cesaro had a good match.
Yes.
Start off the show. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with him next. I really like that backstage segment with him and Roman Reigns. I thought that was really good. Mm-hmm. Trying to see where things are going to go with Bianca Belair and Bayley. Not saying that I did not like their segment this week. I've liked what they're doing so far. I've came to grow and to appreciate more of Bayley's heel character. I know I was not into it this time last year, but
she is really, and I said this about her at WrestleMania. She is making the most of her TV time, like you know, and you know that's the character she's been given, and she's making the most of it. I will also say, Josh, how the hell does Bianca Belair do it with her hair? Like her hair, like she makes it work. Like it would like throw off my center of gravity or whatever. Like I don't know how she does it, but she makes it work.
Honestly, bro, I don't know if there's anything in this world that Bianca Belair can't do at this point. I gotta say, Bayley's looking pretty good, as Booker T was saying back in the day. Looking good. What was I gonna say? I got a kick in the beginning where Paul Heyman was doing the eulogy for Daniel Bryan, and he's doing the ding.
Yeah, that was great.
Roman couldn't his straight face, he started chuckling. It was awesome. Ding!
Yeah, that was great.
Also, speaking of talking smack, I mentioned last week everybody should check out Tamia's promo. Also, I recommend you guys go check out Kevin Owens' promo on Talking Smack. He told Paul Heyman that he has not forgotten about Roman Reigns, and those two are far from done with each other. So I mentioned, somebody asked me about Money in the Bank a few weeks ago, and I was like, I have no doubt that Kevin Owens can win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match.
I have a counter argument to that, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
What you got? Right here. Boom. The Archer of Infamy is would be one. I would say one. Really. We'll get into that in a Raw. But
I definitely. We'll get to that in a couple minutes. Yeah. But overall, for the show, I really enjoyed it. I mentioned at the beginning the old Michael Cole look with the jean jacket. I just thought that's pretty cool. Teddy Long always cracks me up. Seeing him and Sami Zayn dancing, I thought that was great. And then we'll see what happens tomorrow night. You also got to remember, for a storytelling aspect, like Jay wasn't buying into Roman's shtick at the beginning either. It took a while for it to get to that point, you know. So it's like, oh, what do you mean? Jimmy's gonna talk smack to Roman, then they're gonna help him out? Like, let it play out. Let's see what happens. But you know, the cool thing about this, not only was a throwback episode, but I thought SmackDown this week did enough to push in like further things for Backlash. That was my main takeaway from the show last week.
I do have a couple of critiques about the show, Josh, that I wanted to go over with you. Okay. Reginald. I can't figure out Reginald. Like, Reginald to me seems like a perfect AEW talent.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, great athlete, no wrestling skills at all. You know, he would be a perfect fit with Miro and Kip Sabian and all the, you know, just stand around and do nothing, and get paid a lot of money. So I think Reginald is, I will say this. I want to see Reginald in an actual wrestling match, because I think his backstage vignettes are kind of funny, and you can tell he's a good athlete, but what can he do in the ring? So what are your thoughts on that?
I wonder who's more worthless, him or stunted growth.
But at least Reginald can actually cut a promo, sort of.
Yeah.
So that's good. So that was my only critique. And then the other critique I have is, and I'm curious about this, what does the future hold for Shinsuke Nakamura and King Corbin? Because we really haven't seen a lot of them on SmackDown recently. And I'm concerned because, you know, I as you know, Josh, I am a huge Shinsuke Nakamura fan. I've been a Nakamura fan ever since he debuted against Sami Zayn, and I was hoping he'd get more. You know, I know he won the Royal Rumble, had an opportunity to compete for a WWE championship. Obviously, it didn't work out, but I'm really hoping that he'll get back to the promised land at some point.
And the brand split. You'll have more viable options to have different people fight other people and get into other feuds. I'm not saying that you need to have SmackDown guys on Raw every single week or vice versa, but sooner or later the brand split's got to end. So, you know, even then with the brand split, you still have people lost in the shuffle. There's just too many people on the WWE roster as is to expect to have everybody have a push, at everybody get like shooting towards the world championships. It's just unrealistic. You're putting on unrealistic expectations to your audience with a bloated roster.
Sure. But I mean, but at the same time, what did you say to WWE? Okay, well, we're gonna cut some of our like incredible world championship caliber talent. You know, it's
well, they'll do that, and then people throw a hissy fit about it.
Sure.
Well, you want them sitting catering, or are you? It's a lose-lose situation, you know. I don't know what you do with King Corbin next. Does a feud with him and Kevin Owens intrigue you? Does what do you do? I don't know why they wait to the fall to do the WWE draft. You should do the draft after WrestleMania.
Yes, I agree.
All right. Let's get to Monday Night Raw really quick. We'll make our predictions obviously for the pay-per-view at the end of the show. Big thing of the main event was Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. I put it in the description. Can we start putting some respect on Drew McIntyre's name? So tired of these dumb Twitter trolls dogging the dude just because he's the flavor of the month. It's like they always attach their hate towards WWE, towards whoever's like the top guy on Raw, because everybody hates Monday Night Raw, right? Like, let's just call it what it is, right? Everybody thinks it's the worst wrestling show every week, right? So I'm watching the match, and I'm like, Drew and Bobby have never had a bad match with each other. And honestly, this entire build-up towards the triple threat match, I've been really intrigued from it from a match standpoint, and I'm kind of curious. I don't know who's going to win on Sunday, and I'm kind of intrigued in that light. So I thought Bobby and Drew had a really good main event this past Monday. As far as other stuff in the show that stood out to me, New Day teamed up with the Arcade Bro. I thought that was funny. Randy also dropped a New Day with RKOs, which is perfect timing. I thought that was great. Always love the banter between Corey Graves and Byron Saxton. That's always a good time.
Yes.
Damian Priest and John Morrison had another good match this week. We found out that Damian Priest would be fighting The Miz in a lumberjack match. So I think we're going to Splitsville pretty soon with The Miz and John Morrison, and that's going to come soon. Yep. Let's see what else. I mentioned it. It's been a consistent thing. I try to be fair and balanced here with as far as one of the things I like and don't like. I'm not a fan of Nia Jax. This team needs to split up as soon as possible. I don't know why we're not hearing from Adam Pearce more with this stuff with Charlotte and Sonya Deville. I thought it would be at least a backstage segment with all three of them talk to each other about what's going on here, trying to get to the root of what's going on here. So I thought that was a little weird. Besides that, you usually get your regular stuff on the show. I got kicked out. It's like AJ Styles like darkened up his goatee this week, right? And I had to do a double take because he literally looks like my uncle that's like the boss of the tattoo shop I work at. It looks just like Jeremy, and I couldn't stop laughing. So I thought that was awesome. And nice. Then what else?
Oh, Josh, you're forgetting the most important thing. The return of the modern day Maharaja is back, baby. And we can now start going Jinder. Shanky. Veers. Yes. Oh, that's great. But, dude, and actually, Josh, Jinder Mahal looked really good. I thought he looked great in his return. That was awesome. I was so happy to see Jinder Mahal back. That was terrific.
So I guess this week's soapbox was that Jeff Hardy lost to Jinder Mahal.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. By the way, I think WWE is like intentionally trolling people on Twitter. We had Eva Marie last week, and we had Jinder Mahal. I thought that was just great. It's more specifically wrestling Twitter that gets like grinds my gears. So anything to piss them off makes my day. It was great to see Jinder Mahal.
No, that was awesome. I loved it.
His Raw Talk promo was pretty good too, actually.
I haven't had a chance to see it. I'll check it out.
Yeah. With Jinder, like, you don't know where these are going to go. Maybe he'll get a title shot. Again, I don't know, but it's good that he's back on the roster. He had a bad run of knee surgeries over the last couple of years, so hopefully he stays healthy this time.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Well, what else stood out to you from Raw this week?
I like a lot of what you're saying. I like how we're finally getting Alexa Bliss is inserting herself into the women's division. You know, she's been doing these backstage promos with the Fiend stuff. So it looks like she's targeting maybe Shayna Baszler, maybe Charlotte Flair.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Were you offended by Alexa Bliss playing voodoo powers with Baszler slipping towards the corner? Because that was a big bugaboo this week.
I mean, I understand why people don't like it. Like, I get it. I mean, it was fine. I mean, I'm still all in on Alexa Bliss. I think she's absolutely fantastic. I'll be glad to see her in a program away, keeping the Fiend character going. And again, I don't know if she's targeting Shayna Baszler or if she's targeting Charlotte Flair. I would assume she's targeting Charlotte Flair because I think we're going to get a feud eventually with Shayna and Nia once Natty and I'll give my predictions about that later. But I think that's going to be happening soon. I'd love to see an Alexa versus Charlotte match at Money in the Bank. I think that could be great. I guess, Josh, my question for you is, and then I'll talk more about what my thoughts on Raw is. Where does the Fiend go from here? Because we haven't seen the Fiend in quite a while, and I still think that the Fiend is the best character of this generation. I think it's absolutely terrific. So I just don't know where the Fiend goes from here. Does he become a Brock Lesnar character that only kind of shows up when needed? Like, what do we do with the Fiend?
Try to look at the people that are on the roster. Like, maybe you could have Miz turn face and Bray Wyatt go after him again. I don't know. I just like to see Bray Wyatt back more than anything. I don't know what you do with the Fiend now. Like, everybody that's done it wrong, he's already got to the feud with. That was kind of the genesis of the character of him, was collecting receipts on people who did him wrong. So I don't know who else is out there that he needs to go after. Unless he pops up on SmackDown and fights Roman Reigns.
Because as I said last week, Josh, WWE's kind of painted themselves in a corner with Roman Reigns, because I still think the only credible challengers, minus maybe Kevin Owens, are on Raw, and I think the Fiend is one of them. So I would say that.
Let's just have Bray Wyatt come back and see who he can mesh up with. That'd be my.
Because he can be, he can always revert to the Fiend whenever he needs to, kind of like what Finn Balor did with the Demon King. So let's see what else. I'm curious to see, Josh. Do you think Rated RK Bro is going to get a tag team title run?
I do. I wouldn't rush into it though. That's my thing. Let's not just do it. Oh, okay. The next month that Money Bank, they're getting title shots and they're already winning. Like, let it happen at SummerSlam where you have a crowd there to have that reaction. Mm-hmm. Just to win the tag titles in front of virtual screens, I just think would be a bad decision. And I like what AJ Styles and Omos are doing right now. So it's like, I wouldn't do that.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I'm wondering if they're going to have a run before Orton turns on Riddle, because obviously that's the angle, is eventually Orton will turn on Riddle. And
also, if you want to add more tag teams to the Raw tag team division, I know Ali and Ricochet have been having their like rivalry, whatever they're doing. I made event. It's been kind of cool watching their like promos and stuff and vignettes on Twitter. But those two as a tag team would be a good addition to that.
No. Well. Last two things I'll say, Josh. Three things I'll say real quick. Okay. One, I hope Humberto Carrillo is okay. It looks like he took a nasty bump from Sheamus on the outside of the ring.
Yes.
When Sheamus landed on his knee. So
that did not look good.
No. So I hope, and I think the ref had to stop the match.
Yeah.
What a concept. When one of your superstars is hurt, you stop the match. Orange Cassidy. Which we'll get into that here in just a little bit. So I hope Humberto Carrillo is okay. I'm looking forward to his match with Sheamus eventually. I think that's going to be great. I've said this before, Josh, to you via text, and I'll say it again. I think Damian Priest is currently my favorite superstar on Raw. I love Damian Priest. If he doesn't get into a U.S. title feud with Sheamus at SummerSlam, I want to see him win Money in the Bank. I think he is, he's getting close to 40, so his career is starting, it's starting to, well, of course we say that, but Bobby Lashley is in 40s and is looking the best he's ever looked. So right. You never know. But I would say watch out for Damian Priest to either win the U.S. title at SummerSlam or win Money in the Bank this year. And then, much like you, Josh, I think Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman are going to have an amazing match this weekend. You can't go wrong with them. There's a reason why Drew McIntyre has been the face of the company for the last year since the pandemic started. So I think it's great, and I'm really looking forward to their match this Sunday at Backlash, WrestleMania Backlash.
One last thing for Raw, I wanted to ask you: can we officially declare Charlotte Flair the measuring stick?
Yes. Oh, so all these big Sasha fans, where's Sasha been the last month? Ever since she dropped the title to Bianca Belair. Now, if Sasha's doing work, like if she's filming stuff, like fine, like that's cool. I have no problem with that. But I haven't read any reports that Sasha Banks is filming movies or filming The Mandalorian and again, if that is what she's doing, I have no problems with her being off of television, obviously. But I haven't seen any reports about that. But yes, Charlotte Flair is the measuring stick. She will always be the measuring stick. She is currently the GOAT of women's wrestling, and she's still in her prime. Yes, it's Charlotte Flair is and will always be the measuring stick, period, the end.
All right, I'm going to mention a couple of things from NXT that happened this week before we get to our part one of our main event segments this week. We had an interesting edition of NXT. I got to tell you, man, Cameron Grimes is by far the best character that NXT has from a comedy entertainment point of view. Cameron Grimes, we're going to the moon. I love his stick. You guys have to watch Cameron Grimes' interview on The Bump this week to really get a grasp of the character of it. It's just comedy gold. He's getting upstaged by Ted DiBiase, which I think that's awesome. I heard somebody say that Cameron Grimes should come out with the $1 billion championship. I think that'd be awesome.
Oh, that's a great idea. That is a great idea.
Mm-hmm. What else? Oh, we saw Finn Balor come back to NXT this week. Still trying to continue the feud with Karrion Kross. They'll be having a rematch on NXT in a couple of weeks on TV, so that'd be a big TV match. Also, we heard the announcement of the return of In Your House again. We'll have an NXT TakeOver In Your House on June 13th. Write it down, a month from today, ladies and gentlemen, on the Sunday. Also, the show's being hosted by Todd Pettengill.
That's awesome. I love that. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, now, Josh, do you think they need to save Karrion Kross and Finn Balor for In Your House?
No, I think Karrion Kross is probably going to have some fatal four-way match with Balor, Peter Dune, and Kyle O'Reilly. I always say Peter Dune because Kyle O'Reilly calls it Peter Dune. It's funny. By the way, a couple things that stood out for me from NXT this week. Really love the main event of Kushida and Santos Escobar 2 out of 3 falls for the Cruiserweight Championship. Very good match. But also the debut of Isaiah Swerve Scott's faction, if you will, called Hit Row, which I really like the look so far. I think it's been very entertaining so far. So I thought NXT was the best show this week from WWE. Pal.
How was the women's title match?
Oh, that was a good brawling style match. Raquel Gonzalez did retain over Mercedes Martinez, but very, very good match.
So do you think did they need to have another match? Because I know, or I guess, where does Raquel Gonzalez go from here? Does she go with Tara Valkyrie? I mean, I know that's not her name, but
yeah. Well, I'm sure they could have another match down the road. I wouldn't be surprised at that. Frankie Monet, that's what it is. Frankie Monet is having her in-ring debut for NXT in a couple weeks, so that should be pretty interesting. I mean, more than anything, you'd probably see her, Dakota Kai.
Oh, that'd be good. I'm also ready for Shotzi Blackheart to get her NXT Women's Title match eventually.
Let's keep Ember Moon away from the title shots.
I don't know. I like Ember Moon. I know you're not a fan, Josh, but I like Ember Moon. I think she has potential.
I think she's one of those people that acts like her shit don't stink. That's why I don't like her. But anyways, I think we know what time it is, Brad Carter.
I do believe we know what time it is. Full disclaimer, Josh, I would like to put another disclaimer at the beginning of this segment, is that the following segment is going to bash an overrated and incredibly overhyped wrestling company that will continue to piss off a lot of the wrestling Twitter universe. But that is what we do here on the Hoots podcast, because we tell it like it is. And because of that, it is time for... It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW?
Brought to you by the Wrestling is Over newsletter.
By the way, Josh, in about a month or so is going to be the 1-year anniversary of What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. So
that's a good point.
So I think we started around. I was listening. I think I was doing the math because I still have to save. I believe episode 262 will be the 1-year anniversary of What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. So
wow. What was the actual date of the first one? That's what I want to know.
I'll have to look it up. But Josh, what the hell is wrong with AEW? Like, if we're being completely honest, what the hell is wrong with AEW? Okay, we're just gonna get. How do you want to do this? Do you want to let's just go segment by segment? I think break it down.
Let's pose it closer to the people watching and listening to the podcast this week. What isn't wrong with AEW?
No, at this point, you're right, Josh. What isn't wrong with AEW? But okay, let's just start at the very beginning. All right. I guess I don't know why they're changing Moxley's theme music. Now he's coming out to Wild Thing all of a sudden. Fine, whatever. I guess, and this is just a me personally thing. You cover New Japan more than I do. They wrestle us. I guess that I just thought Yuji Nagata looked slow and didn't really work with Moxley's upbeat, fast, in-your-face style of wrestling. So that just didn't really do it for me. I thought the match itself was fine, but I don't know. What do you think? You cover New Japan more than I do, obviously.
This is my favorite part of the show last night. Probably the only thing on the show I liked besides Britt Baker's interview with JR. But more than anything, I mentioned this last night. I feel like this was more of an indictment on AEW than anything, because whenever Moxley is involved with New Japan, I'm more interested in what he does there than he does in AEW. And I'm just really glad that it wasn't a run-in with Olivier and Don Callis like it was the other two big matches on the show. So I thought the match was fine. As far as the stuff with the Wild thing, I really didn't care for the song. I was waiting for like Dennis Quaid to come out in the stands and like, Wild thing, you make my bus sting. Turn this place into a parking lot. That song did not fit that setting whatsoever, in my opinion. So they got out of the way. It was the opening match, but things got
way worse. By the way, Josh, the first episode of What the Hell is Wrong with AEW was June 19th, 2020, episode 210 of the Hoots podcast.
My God.
So go back and listen to 210. You can see us laughing our asses off when the song played for the first time. Oh, God. Okay, Josh, why does AEW continue to let Jake Hager speak? Why do they let him talk? Like, the only person I cared about in the Inner Circle promo was Santana. Was he? Was it him or it was Santana that gave the promo, or was it Ortiz? I can't remember.
Yeah,
it was Santana. I actually cared about what he had to say. He actually delivered a decent promo. Why did they let Hager speak? And Guevara, I like Sammy Guevara, but he should not be allowed to speak either. Like, they do not deserve to be on the microphone at all. Like, it was horrible.
You have a better chance of me sitting through a full episode of Undisputed with Skip and Shannon than me trying to buy Sammy Guevara and Jake Hager as baby faces. Remove all microphones away from Jake Hager as soon as possible. And please, stop trying to sell Sammy Guevara as a baby face. Just stop.
No.
It's kind of insulting, to be honest with you.
It's horrible. Speaking of horrible, okay. We get to the next match.
Hold on, are you going to talk about the promo that happened before this match?
Oh, I'll let you talk about that one, because then I kind of tuned it out. But go ahead.
So we had Double J, Jeff Jarrett, pop up on our screen.
Oh, God, I forgot about this. I forgot about this. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Josh.
This was something to behold, because I don't know where this was going. I put it out on Twitter yesterday, like, are we getting a flag match? That's where it started. Like, I thought he was auditioning for NPR. I know you listen to NPR, but like, I don't know where the fuck he was going with that promo. And then, okay, you tries to pivot by mentioning the birth of his baby child. Okay, that's fine. congratulations to him and Brandy whenever the baby comes. That's cool.
Yep.
But this promo just went on and on and on. And it's another thing with AEW. Either matches overstay their welcome or promos overstay their welcome that have no rhyme or reason. So to go with a 9-minute soliloquy, because Cody Rhodes needs to have his real estate on Dynamite every week, right? And this promo sucked ass. We found out that Cody Rhodes would be fighting Anthony Ogogo at Double or Nothing.
Anthony Ogogo can go the fuck home is what can happen.
Exactly. John's a B-Rob. I think he appreciate that. Anthony Ogogo will be fighting Austin Gunn on Dynamite. Who gives a flying fuck? Next week
he's gonna punch Austin Gunn in the gut, and then the ref will stop it. Spoiler alert! I just gave you the finish of the match.
Yeah, so Anthony Ogogo is Ivan Draco, and we're supposed to pretend that Cody Rhodes is Rocky. Just hey, folks, AEW doesn't try to insult your intelligence.
Well, okay, so Josh, to me, it's like, why did he randomly start talking about a bunch of controversial issues just in the middle of his how do you react to that? Like, why would you do that?
He was doing that because Ogogo put the union.
Well, I understand that. Well, I understand that, but like, why are you going to try to alienate your fan base by talking about some controversial issues in a promo? You know,
I found it interesting he's bringing up American stuff since he's a Trump supporter.
Right.
I'm surprised he didn't end the promo saying "Make America Great Again."
I know. I
whatever filter, but if you're a Trump person, like you do you. But
right.
But that's the thing. Like, we're watching a professional wrestling show that's so like already like 90% of the show is just layered with stuff with behind the scenes and blah 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 blah. The last thing I want to hear on a professional wrestling show is something about real life politics. I don't fucking care.
No, like
that has no place in professional wrestling. It's supposed to be an escape for everybody. Like, shut up, Jake Taper or Tapper, whatever the fuck his last name is from CNN. Well, like, yo, Cody, if you want to be Wolf Blitzer, just do the audition and retire. Like, that stuff really threw me off. I'm like, okay, that wasn't necessary, and the promo sucked.
Right. I mean, it seemed an impassionate promo, like when he was talking about his son or his I think it's his daughter. Yeah. And that's fine. Like, I didn't have a problem with that, but just the content of the promo, like that's not, like you said it right, Josh. Like, people watch professional wrestling to get an escape from the real world, not to be reminded about what's going on in it. So I agree with you on all that. Okay. Now we get to the AEW World Tag Team title match between the Elite, who will probably retire as AEW champions because they will never take the belts off in All Friends Wrestling. So we have that versus SCU. Okay. The opening of the match, I actually enjoyed. The first 5 minutes of the match, I actually thought was okay. And I thought that there was good flow, good pacing. It wasn't overdone with the theatrics. Like, I actually thought it was fine. I thought up to that point, it was probably the Bucks' best AEW Dynamite match up to that point. You know, like, it was actual wrestling. And then Christopher Daniels goes and Blade, I don't know if it was a blade or a blood pill, but good God, he looked awful. And I'm like, what the hell is the point of this? Like, why would you do this? And if it was real, like, it looked like he could have seriously hurt himself. That's what I was like, it has to be a blood pill, right? But all of a sudden he comes back, oh, I'm going to recover from this Eddie Guerrero type blade and go in there and try to save the day. Like, and it just all went to shit after that. Like, and then I tweeted this out last night from the Wrestling Rumor account. And we've talked about this before, Josh. WWE will always live rent-free in AEW.
Yeah.
All you had to do was watch the Young Bucks and prove me wrong. He did the Macho Man thing. He did the I'm sorry, I love you, and super kicked Frankie Kazarian. Like, what is the point of all of this? This is why I think AEW is a parody of a wrestling company. It was the blood was completely unnecessary. all of the stuff afterwards when they were trying to be, to take shots at WWE instead of being their own identity. AEW does everything else except be their own identity, and that's what they do. So those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts on that match, Josh?
First off, why was this not on a pay-per-view? And also, why was this not the main event of your episode? Especially with this stipulation of the SCU retiring. You know something with AEW, when they make a bad decision with a matchup or a decision doesn't go over well with everybody, they immediately rush into something backstage. Like, the SCU are going to retire as a tag team and immediately go to something backstage. Also, Don Callis doing commentary with JR and the crew. Brutal. Rough to sit through.
I'm so done with Don Callis, man. I'm overdone. It was fine at first, but now I'm sick of Don Callis. I'm sick of Don Callis.
Also, this can be hard to say this because they are kind of the inspiration behind the name of this podcast, but can somebody tell me that the Good Brothers are actually something that I should take seriously now? They're fucking goofballs. Both of them. And not in a good way. Like, I can understand comedy when they're doing like Southpaw regional wrestling or the stuff they do with Talking Shop. All that stuff is awesome. I love that. The Hoots stuff, that's the reason why we called this show that. But what they do with Olivier and Don Callis, Moby, as I like to call him, it's stupid. I don't care about the Elites. I don't care about Kenny Omega. I don't care about the Good Brothers. This fucking group sucks. And the Young Bucks attached them on there. They are by far the most overrated tag team I've ever seen in my entire life. Also, I know this is not going to change because they're executive vice presidents, but stop having Rick Knox be the referee for all their matches because there's no tag psychology. People are in the ring for 30 seconds when you're supposed to be out in 10. It's so stupid, man. And stupid, silly distractions on the outside while the match is going on. Oh, we had blood and guts. We had Moxley bleed in the first match. We'll have Daniels go hard way, be busted open. Like, Tony Khan, bro, there's more to professional wrestling than what happened in the 90s. Wake the fuck up and start doing your job, man.
Or at the same but no, Josh, he's too busy having to offer refunds to his audience because he didn't promote ahead of time. Oh, hey, guys, by the way, the first hour of the show, we're going to give you tape stuff from last week.
Hey, did Vince McMahon do speeches in the 80s and 90s to the audience that attended their shows?
Booker of the Year, pal.
So fucking stupid. What was next on this thing?
Okay, let's move on. Okay. Next match, I believe, was Pac versus Orange Cassidy. Now, full disclosure, I hope, in all seriousness, I hope that Orange Cassidy is okay. I went back and watched it. It looks like he took a couple of nasty shots, and you never wish injury upon anybody. And I hope that he's okay. And I don't know if that's the reason why AEW called an audible. I don't know. So I just hope he's okay. So I just want to get that out of the way.
Right.
Now, all this to be said, from what I understand and from what I've read, the finish was to have Orange Cassidy and Pac wrestle to a draw, and then we were going to get a triple threat match all along. So this is what you're telling me. This is what AEW wants us to do, right? Well, first, we're going to offer you a refund for showing you taped matches, but please send $60 our way so that you can watch the most overrated champion in professional wrestling history go against a guy whose sole gimmick is to put his hands in his pockets. Please give us $60 to do that. Like, are you freaking kidding me? How does Orange Cassidy get a world title opportunity before along the lines of Darby Allin, Jungle Boy, all these guys who you can build a talent.
Hangman Page.
Thank you. Yes, Hangman Adam Page. I forgot about him. I'm sure there's a few others I'm missing. I know he's hurt right now, but eventually Ricky Starks. I love Ricky Starks. I think he's terrific. But this is going to be your main event. I don't know, Josh. I have a feeling that they're going to put the title on Orange Cassidy at Double or Nothing. I really do. And he's going to end up getting this weird pin against Pac. That's what's going to be the angle here. He's going to, so that Kenny Omega can bitch and whine. I was never pinned to lose my title. And him and Don Callis can go on this freaking, they can just whine and bitch and complain and moan. And again, because they're a parody of a wrestling company, their world champion is going to be a guy who doesn't talk, and his gimmick is to put his hands in his freaking pockets. I thought the actual match itself for a little while was actually fine. When Orange Cassidy doesn't put his hands in his pockets, he's actually not a bad wrestler, and he actually sells okay. I think that's fine. And Pac, I think you can build a company around Pac. I think Pac is absolutely terrific. But so I don't know, Josh. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I thought this match overstayed its welcome. Also, shitty job per usual by Aubrey Edwards during this match. Not only the stuff with the spot with Orange Cassidy possibly being a bad injury there. Also, he could have been knocked out too earlier. At the end of the match as well.
With the kick, you mean? Because it could have either been the kick
or the face, or
the power bomb, yeah. And again, that's nobody's fault. Like, accidents happen,
But still, like, she's the worst referee in professional wrestling, at least television-wise, in my opinion. She's not good at her job. She could be in all the main events. She could be Tower Ego and how great she is and blah, 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 blah. She sucks. Let's just call it what it is. Also, can anybody give me one good reason why anybody should spend money on this pay-per-view? I mean, I wrote down the card for this pay-per-view. I'm going to run this down for you, Rick. I'll pull this up on my phone, okay?
Yeah, please.
Double or Nothing 2021. Oh, by the way, we forgot to mention this earlier. So, AEW is hyping up the biggest signing ever for AEW, which was Christian Cage. What's he doing his first pay-per-view? He's in the fucking Casino Battle Royal. Let's start off there. Number one. Great booking, Tony Khan.
So I'm wondering which new debuting ex-WWE person is going to come in and win the Battle Royal, because that seems to be their trend.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. That's the only time I'm talking about booking on this segment. We have Hangman Page against Brian Cage. Okay.
I think that actually could be a good match.
Well, this is stupid because the Kenny Olivier should be fighting Hangman Page on this pay-per-view, not Pockets in Pac. It's like the entire show I was watching last night, outside of the first match, was like, I can't suspend my disbelief. I can't. I don't buy anything on the show promo-wise. Nothing is genuine. It's forced. It's stupid. It's spoofs of stuff from the 90s, like the Inner Circle Pinnacle segment, which was ridiculous. So they'll be fighting in a Stadium Stampede match. If the Inner Circle loses, they must disband. By the way, this is the fourth time that they dangled this carrot of the Inner Circle losing. They're done as a group. Just get rid of the fucking group already. I mentioned Casino Battle Royal. Cody Rhodes against Anthony Ogogo. Hikaru Shida against Britt Baker. Kenny Olivier, Pockets for the triple threat match. Outside of Hikaru Shida and Britt Baker, why should anybody pay 1 cent on this pay-per-view?
Oh, here, Josh, let me entice you with another match they're going to have. The Young Bucks versus Moxley and Kingston. Boy, that'll put butts in the seats, pal. They're going to... There's two matches on this card that I want to see, Josh. One is Hikaru Shida and Britt Baker, and the other is Brian Cage versus Hangman Adam Page. I think that could be a really good match because I like both of those workers. But other than that, why would I pay $60? I can get this crap for free on Dynamite. They had 3 title matches on Dynamite last night. Why the hell would I pay $60 for this crap when I'll just get it in for a couple weeks later on Dynamite anyway? Or whatever new gimmick they're going to do, bringing in whatever celebrity they're going to bring in to do this. So, no, I don't care, Josh. If I can't find a stream, I'm not going to watch Double or Nothing because I have no reason to care about this pay-per-view.
You guys can find the transcript, though, on ProWrestlingTranscripts.com.
You can at least see, Josh, you can at least write it off as a business expense.
I'm not paying for it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, exactly. So, oh God, it's awful. Okay, do you want to move on?
Yes, let's move on.
Okay, let's move on. All right. So we get to the speaking of the Inner Circle and Pinnacle segment. First off, that was probably the MJF's worst promo since he started being with the Pinnacle. It was awful. It was terrible.
Probably Blanchard's promo wasn't that much better either.
No, it wasn't. And then they get to the champagne bath. First off, you could see Jericho in the shot before they were going to reveal him, which I thought was hilarious. By the way, side note, if everybody has not followed AEW Botches on Twitter, you need to follow AEW Botches. It's hilarious, and it points out all the things about this company that we've been saying for almost a year now. So they do that. They try to recreate the beer bath angle with the champagne, and they missed! Sammy Guevara couldn't aim it. He shot the champagne over top of the Inner Circle, and they tried to fall over like it was like they were getting attacked by the beer or the milk. Like,
right.
If you're gonna do the segment, do it right. They missed
big time,
and they were trying to sell it. Like, again, WWE lives rent free in AEW's head. That's what they do. It was an awful segment. Why should I care about the Pinnacle and Inner Circle in Stadium Stampede? Here's another thing, Josh.
Yeah.
I get why they did Stadium Stampede last year because of the pandemic and, you had to do cinematic matches. And I actually, if we're being honest, I actually liked Stadium Stampede last year. I didn't mind it at all. We were in the midst of a pandemic. I know you have to do those sorts of things. I thought it was completely fine. No problems there. But why are you doing it this year with a 100% live crowd? You have a live crowd back. Why are you doing a cinematic match? Shooting it from a football stadium. It makes no sense to me.
I like to send my regards to Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence.
Well, and now it looks like Tim Tebow as well.
Yeah, hopefully the field is not too messed up as it is. I mean, you got a shitty football organization and a shitty wrestling company owned by the same owner. How coincidental is that? Also, I did not hate the Stadium Stampede match. I wanted to. It's for me, like when they were advertising about AEW being a serious sports-based wrestling company, that died when that match happened. And don't get me wrong, the whole stuff with the lake of reincarnation, I thought that was funny and stuff like that. I could laugh here and there, but it's just, I continue to say this. Stop sending mixed messages to your audience. And I don't know why this match constitutes as the Stadium Stampede match when you could have just did blood and guts at the pay-per-view.
I don't get it.
How about that? You could have done blood and guts on the fucking football field. How about that?
Or if you're going to do that, Josh, how about you have the event in the actual stadium and you can get more fans in there? Like,
exactly.
I guarantee you could find in that area, you could find more than 5,500 people to watch AEW Double or Nothing. I'm sure.
Hey, great job by the camera team giving away Chris Jericho being there.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, I was saying that earlier. Yeah. They showed Jericho before the. I don't get it. Okay, all right, Josh. Earlier this year, I had said that AEW's women's division was moving in the right direction, and we were actually getting some decent competitive matches on television.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, was I wrong. The last 2 weeks have been. The AEW women's division has gotten one match, and it's been against a jobber, essentially, an AEW developmental talent. Please explain to me how this is advancing women's wrestling and how it's, when was the last time we saw Nyla Rose on television? When was the last time we saw their women's champion on television?
Oh, where's Penelope Ford at?
Where's Penelope Ford? Where's Ty Conti? I know Anna Jay is hurt right now, I believe, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I get why we're not seeing her, but how is the women's division going to be focused on AEW Dark? Like, is that how they're going to entice people to watch AEW Dark? They put 30 freaking matches on the show every week. You got to do something to, so
yeah.
AEW I thought they were moving in the right direction. I was very wrong. AEW is now Once again, all except women.
Yeah, and also, why isn't Thunder Rosa fighting Hikaru Shida at the pay-per-view when she beat Britt Baker in a lights out match? But oh my god, because Britt Baker bled and the fans started cheering for her. Oh, she's the #1 contender.
Now,
give me a break.
To be fair, Josh, Britt Baker is the best part about that.
That's not a slight towards Britt Baker. I'm not saying that she don't deserve the opportunity. She's obviously the face of the women's division for a reason. But still, when this company pumps up their chest about their wins and losses mattering, did Britt Baker win that lights out match?
No.
So why is she getting the title shot? And then they have Thunder Rosa conveniently come out after her promo and have a squash match, kind of signaling like, this is fucking stupid. Why am I not getting the title shot? She even said it. This is my time. You heard Thunder Rosa say it last night. This is my time. Yes, it is your time. It is your time. And I don't mean to pull Stephen A. Smith here, but we are being hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and I'm tired of it.
Agreed.
When somebody tells you that wins and losses matter in AEW, tell them that they're full of shit. Okay, take that advice from me. Okay.
Well, you get a title match, and you get a title match, and you get a title match. I mean, Serena Deeb's defending her title against Red Velvet next week. So I'm glad we're actually getting somewhat of a competitive women's match on AEW, but again, it's all about one person in the women's division, and that is DMD.
Correct.
Okay. Now we get to the main event. Now, first, I will say, I enjoyed Darby Allin's promo on when he did that backstage stuff with Miro. I actually enjoyed the two best parts. The two best parts of AEW this week were Britt Baker's promo and Darby Allin's promo. Were the two best parts of AEW this week, and that's saying a lot about your wrestling company when the best part of your show consistently each week is a promo. Now, to be fair, a lot of WWE's best work is in promos with Roman Reigns. So, so I will give AEW a pass on that one. But the best part of the show, Darby Allin, I thought, cut a great promo. Why? Oh, why does a guy who we have not seen wrestle in like 4 to 6 weeks after on television, his latest thing was beating up Kip Sabian, otherwise known as Times New Roman Font. All of a sudden, he gets a main event shot and is your TNT champion. You take the title off of a guy that you can build a company around in Darby Allin. I think Darby Allin is one of AEW's best talents. I would put him number 2 behind MJF, if I'm being honest. For AEW's top 2 talents, one is MJF and 2 is Darby Allin.
Right.
You're taking the TNT title off, a title that you're trying to make a legitimate title, and which I actually thought AEW did a good job with giving Brody Lee the title. Maybe not with Cody Rhodes, but with AEW, with Brody Lee, and now Darby Allin, I thought, okay, maybe they're trying to make the TNT title into a legitimate title, turning into a TV title if that's the direction they want to go, fine. Because the TNT title is main evented like the last 3 or 4 weeks of the show, I think, right? Which, fine. I actually don't have a problem with that because I like Darby Allin. I think he's great. But why does Miro deserve the TNT title? What has he done to deserve the TNT title? Unless, again, Josh, that they're trying to turn him into Brock Lesnar. And this is our version of Brock Lesnar where we just come out, beat the crap out of everybody, and then maybe get a win. I don't get it. Again, Tony Khan, Booker of the Year, pal. I know we're not supposed to talk about booking in this segment, but you can't help it with this. Why is Miro the TNT champion? What has he done?
It's so stupid. Like, you're giving Miro a title just to prop up a random ass tag team of Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page for a one-off match. A one-off match. No, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are not going to have a 3 or 4 month feud with Darby Allin and Sting. Nobody wants that, and that's not going to happen. So don't give me this, this is long-term storytelling. Get out of here. And then here's the thing. How can you take this seriously? Miro, his last main event, he lost in a video game match to Pockets and Chuck Taylor. Yeah, I'm supposed to take it seriously that Miro is your TNT champion and something I should be scared of. I got no personal issues with Miro. I like him as a performer. I like him as a person. But what they've done with him since he's joining AEW is ridiculous. Hell, even Darby Allin mentioned it before the match started.
Yes.
It's just stupid. Just like a lot of things they do on the show. It's stupid. Do this stupid angle just to have it's every main event. Oh, we have a match. Out comes Dark Order running after somebody after the match, and then another person appears on the stage. Can we let something breathe? Do we need a damn afterbirth, as Jim Cornette says after every single match on these shows? Stupid.
What? Again.
Oh, what did Cornette say the other day? Lazy booking.
Yes, it's what it is. Let's just throw some stuff together to they read Twitter and be like, ooh, what does Twitter want to see? Ooh, let's do that. And that's how they book their show every week.
Yeah, Lance Archer against Miro. Great. Two heels fighting each other. Who gives a fuck?
Is Lance Archer a heel or a face?
Who knows? Who knows?
I don't know. Oh my God. Okay. Josh,
go
ahead.
That is what the hell is wrong.
I was gonna say, let's get out of here. Hold on. Let me fire it up here. Let's get out of here. This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. It gets worse every week, Josh. This show gets worse every week.
You're kidding. Yeah, we should not be playing mental gymnastics while watching a professional wrestling show, but hey, WWE is the only promotion that insults your intelligence. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to wrap things up here at the Hoots Podcast this week, but before we do that, it's time for some predictions.
Ta-da! Yes. I feel like I need to create a sound effect like a heroic trumpet, like a ba-ba, whenever someone says predictions.
We promise you have no lashes on your back after we're done running down this card.
That looks like that hurts.
Yeah, it does. At least no kendo sticks. Okay, that's the last thing we need. Kendo stick shots. Brett Carter, I think you have the card right with you.
I do have the card in front of me. Yes, let me pull it up. Shall I run it down for everybody?
Yes, let's see what we got here.
So, WrestleMania Backlash takes place this Sunday. You can watch it 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on Peacock on the US and the WWE Network everywhere else. I'm going to run down the card in reverse order as listed on the WWE website. Also, Josh, we should note this is the card as of today, Thursday, May 13th. More matches could be added on SmackDown.
Subject to change, pal.
Yes. More matches could be added tomorrow night on SmackDown or throughout the weekend. We shall see. But the first match they have listed, Josh, is Damian Priest versus The Miz in a lumberjack match. As I've said multiple times, I think Damian Priest is the real deal. He is my favorite superstar on Raw. I definitely think he gets the win here, and we move on to a feud between The Miz and Johnny Drip Drip. And I really hope that Damian Priest goes from here to the U.S. title going forward. Or actually, I hope that he competes in the Money in the Bank ladder match and wins the ladder match. But I have Damian Priest getting the win here.
I'm going with the Barican Oos as well. I'm going with Damian Priest.
Yeah, that's going to be great. Also, again, shout out also to Damian Priest representing Puerto Ricans really, really well. That's really, really terrific. I'm really happy for that. The SmackDown Tag Team Champions will be defended. Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, the Dirty Dogs, versus the father and son duo of Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. Who do you have in this one, Josh?
I got the Mysterios winning, yes.
I do too, and them becoming the first father and son duo to win the tag team champions. That's going to be very cool. And I hope that this is kind of the swan song for Rey Mysterio. This is a pretty great way for him to end his career, to be a tag team champion with his son. Like, how do you go out? What's a better way to go out than with that? So I hope that is the case. Let's see. Josh, I did want to mention something real quick to you about this. We're getting the Women's Tag Team Championship match this Friday night, tomorrow night on SmackDown. Kind of a bonus pick. You've got Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax defending against Tamina and Natalya. First, why is this match happening on SmackDown and not at the pay-per-view? And second, who do you have winning?
You know what? I think they might switch the titles tomorrow night. I maybe it's an early guess on that, but I can see that happen, and they do the rematch, and then that's where Shayna turns on Nia Jax.
Interesting. Yeah, I have Natalya and Tamina winning as well. At the end of the weekend, they will be the women's tag team champions.
Correct.
Maybe they'll get a rematch on the pre-show, but yes, no, I think Shayna needs to turn on Nia and move on. She needs
as soon as possible.
Yeah, she needs to start kicking ass on Raw, and Nia Jax needs to go to AEW. Okay, I'm gonna do the women's matches. No. I'm sorry. Let's do the next one. Universal Champion Roman Reigns versus Cesaro. Roman Reigns versus Cesaro.
Well, this definitely be the main event of the pay-per-view. I'm gonna go with the big dog. Obviously it's the obvious choice, but this could be an awesome match to transcribe. I'm really looking forward to it. And also, what's cool about this is that there's good matches on this card, but also recently with like the lower level pay-per-views, it's been quicker run times on these pay-per-views, so you still be able to enjoy your night on a Sunday night.
Only 2.5, only a 2.5 hour show, which maybe that's the reason. I don't know, but I agree, Josh. I think it's going to be great. I think we'll further the storyline with Jimmy and Jay after this, so we'll see where they go from there. But no, I agree with you. Big Dog retains for sure. Next up, you have the Raw Women's Championship match. You've got Rhea Ripley defending her title versus Asuka and the GOAT, Charlotte Flair. I actually am going to take I'm going to take Rhea Ripley to retain here. I don't think it's time to put the title back on Charlotte just yet, because I want to see what happens with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte going forward. So I'm going to say that Rhea Ripley retains here.
I have Alexa Bliss costing Charlotte Flair the match, so I got Rhea Ripley retaining. Yes,
should be good. Next up, we have the SmackDown Women's Championship match. We have Bianca Belair, the EST, the best, the greatest, the fastest, the EST of WWE, defending against Bayley. Who you got here?
Be a back and forth matchup. Bayley gets into an argument with Michael Cole, and then she takes the KOD and loses.
Nah, I like that. I like that for sure. Yeah, I've got Bianca Belair winning as well. I think she can have a lengthy title run. She is absolutely fantastic. There's a reason why she is the BEST of WWE. I am all in on Bianca Belair. By the way, that hair whip, good Lord, that thing looks like that could hurt. Holy crap.
Yeah, that's why I was mentioning the lashes in the back.
Dang.
Mamma mia.
Indeed.
Hell, hey, it's so deadly that it takes you off television off of us.
Ooh, maybe that's going to be her gimmick. We will see. And then finally, to close up our predictions this week, WWE champion Bobby Lashley defending against Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman. They could go a number of different ways here. I think I'm gonna take the chief hurt officer of the Hurt Business to retain his championship here. They could do something with either McIntyre or Strowman in a one-on-one match at Money in the Bank if that's how they want to go. But I'm going to take Bobby Lashley to retain his title here.
I'm going to go with Lashley to retain. So, though I would not be surprised or upset if McIntyre wins, it gets out if McIntyre pins Braun Strowman. But yeah, I got Lashley retain here. This should be an awesome Hoss match to type down. So if it was me, I even have this match start off this show.
Sure.
So.
Do you think there's any chance that we see some interference from either some interference, whether it's from T-Bar, Mace, Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin? Somehow they end up helping Bobby Lashley retain his title.
I'm sure there'll be some shenanigans, but also I have more confidence in WWE producing a triple threat match than I would at AEW, where they have 20 people run into the ring and overbooked all over the place. So I'm curious to see what the finish is, but this would be a fun match in general, though.
Indeed. Really looking, and I believe that's it. That's what we got, Josh. Really looking forward to the show this weekend. I think it's going to be absolutely terrific.
Ooh, one more bonus match. It's not announced, but I have a feeling it will. Apollo Crews against Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Big E, a four-way for the IC title. What would you have in that?
No, that's going to be great. I would have Apollo Crews retaining. I think that he's been doing great work with the title, and Commander Aziz is great too. So I have Apollo Crews retaining if that ends up being a match.
Yeah, I got Paul Cruz suit. Also, watch out for the Nigerian nail. Yes. All right, folks, we're about to put a ribbon on the bow of this fun edition of the Hoots Podcast, episode 257. Before we head out this week, we'd like to announce to everybody that myself and Britta Carter are fully vaccinated. Yes.
Indeed.
I got my second shot on Tuesday. Britta Carter got it over the weekend.
Well, actually, Josh, I got mine at the end of the day. I've been vaccinated for a couple weeks now, believe it or not.
A couple weeks already. Wow.
Yeah.
Time going by so fast. But
it all runs together, pal.
Stay tuned this window here after the end of the shops. Feel good, rock and roll. And I advise people to take the shot and being beneficial to everybody. Everybody's looking to see things come back to normal by 4th of July, I think it was that they were mentioning. So I know AEW is going back on tour soon. So get vaccinated. Let's get back to where we were before this hell spectrum that we went through for the last 18 months. And we're almost there, ladies and gentlemen. Just take your shots and be considerate of other people. It's the most important thing. So get your shots where you can. They're free. You don't have to pay for it. Take the shot. Don't be that, oh, I'm not good. I'm tough. Then, like, no, you're not. This is real life. Like, you try to play the tough guy, but look out for other people. As
someone who has had COVID, that it is not fun. Like, it knocks you on your ass. So yes, through it is not fun.
All right, make sure to follow Brother Carter on Twitter, by the way, at Derek Stoughton. Make sure to check out DerekStoughton.com if you want to check out his music work. You can follow me on Twitter at Josh Lopez. Actually, hashtag Free the Hoots Podcast on Twitter as well. Hit up at Twitter support as well, because it's kind of ridiculous. I'll be suspended for this for 3 months. It's ridiculous.
Also, Josh, just quick plug. Be sure to check out my work on WrestlingRumors.net as well.
Yes.
My article's there, and then I also tweet from the Wrestling Rumors account for Raw, SmackDown, and all the shows when I can.
Yes. Also, I'm on Instagram if you want to check me out there at Joshie Lopez94 at Josh Lopez Music. Bookmark ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. Go do that right now. I have a transcript for Backlash this Sunday, and then I think hold on. I think we got Impact Under Siege on Saturday. I could be wrong. It's May 15th or something like that.
Oh.
It just came out of blue. Just off the top of my head, I forgot I have a damn Impact show I got to do on Saturday. That's going to be fun. Anyways, the world of professional wrestling never stops. But for Brother Carter, I'm Joshie. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Remember, be the authentic product that is yourself. And remember, nobody's dictating the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. We love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy Backlash. We'll be back here next week to recap it right here on Hoots Podcast. Yes, sir.